In this episode, we're lamenting the loss of Charles Martinet as the voice of Mario. Then, in our case, we're sticking with video games as we debate how much is too much for a kid to spend on a microtransaction in a video game. You gotta watch to hear our verdict. What you are listening to is real. The parties involved are not cool. They are actual geeks with a case pending in the court of public opinion. The party's case has been dismissed, and the dispute will be settled here on our podcast. There will be no lawyers. There will be no witness testimony. The judge's decisions are final.
Hello, I'm Judge Ivan.
I'm Judge Jonathan, and this is Geeks on Trial. Today's case, Microtransaction Meltdown.
Welcome to Geeks on Trial. This is the podcast where we settle petty disputes over movies, video games, board games, and more. If you'd like to submit your own geeky case, you can do so to our email address. That's geeksontrial@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support our show, you can do so over at patreon.com/geeksontrial. For just a few bucks a month, you gain early access to both our audio and our video episodes before they're released to the general public.
That's right. Welcome to the show, everybody. So happy to be here this week.
I'm so
excited
happy
to talk about our case and our topic.
I'm happy but not excited.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I understand that completely. Can I pick a bone with you, Ivan?
You can pick my bone any day, yes?
This is not on the docket.
Oh.
But it's been rolling around my head, and I brought it up last week.
Okay.
And I don't have a platform to complain about this, and I want to do it here on our show.
Oh, okay.
So, for 2 minutes before we get to our topic.
So, okay, let's go.
I want to complain about the TikTok app for a minute.
Okay.
And I wonder if this is something that you've experienced, because I have TikTok on my Google Pixel phone, which you also have a Google Pixel phone.
I do have a Google Pixel phone, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor yet. Technically, they kind of are, because YouTube is owned by Google, so it's all sort of,
And I do listen to it anyway.
There is an option in TikTok that is usually checked by default,
Right.
so that all of the videos on your TikTok, the volume is leveled out, so that if one video is real loud and one's quiet, TikTok tries to find a middle ground and make every video the same volume for you.
Okay.
Great feature, right? Quality of
love
life
it.
feature. Who wouldn't want that feature?
I wish that was in movies.
Yes, as do I. Some TVs actually, I think, do have this feature. But on my phone, and other phones too, I've looked this up. I don't know if it's every Pixel or if it's specific Android models. But some of these phones, that feature has a side effect, which I didn't realize it was the culprit behind right away. It took me weeks of searching to figure this out. If I'm listening to a podcast, say, or watching a YouTube video, or anything else with audio on my phone, and usually I have it say at full volume, after give it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, every once in a while, it'll automatically lower the volume by 4 or 5 notches.
Yes, the old safety feature to make sure you're not going deaf.
But here's the thing. It does that as a result of this feature in TikTok. If you TikTok I'm telling you, TikTok has a bug that affects, I've looked this up, I'm not alone. If you disable that feature, doesn't happen.
Interesting.
It doesn't happen
because
anymore.
I've had this issue where, because I don't use Bluetooth in my car, I plug in a headphone jack. And if I have my audio cranked all the way up to 100% in my car, it'll listen to it through the speaker, the microphone of the phone, and lower the volume for safety.
You should check your TikTok. It could be your TikTok.
I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like it's done this before TikTok, but anyway.
Maybe. But here's the problem. There's the real thing I'm complaining about. In TikTok, it re-enables that feature like every day or so after I disable it by itself.
Now,
So
okay.
I have to go in there like once every couple of days and uncheck the option so that it doesn't happen anymore.
Is this a thing that only happens on the Pixel phones?
It's either only Pixels or only certain Android phones. I don't know exactly what models it affects, but it's an Android thing.
Because
for sure.
that upsets me, because a lot of these apps and a lot of apps assume that, people don't use Android phones, and a lot of apps are made geared towards the Apple, and then like Android is a side, we have to make it for these people. That always pisses me off with Android versus Apple, because like I don't like Apple products, I don't like Apple phones, but like this I could see how that could be annoying because I'm sure they updated it on the main app, and then it just didn't do it for Android.
Yep, you're probably right. Anyway, this is just not our topic. I just had a rant about that because it's been bothering me for, I think, months now. I've been having to deal with this, and it drives me crazy. Now, it's worse because we have a Geeks on Trial TikTok account, so but those settings are profile dependent,
right?
Which means I have to log in and out and then uncheck both of them.
Well, you have to log out.
No, but switch accounts. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it doesn't because pretty okay. Now I wonder if it's because is it
what the hell?
Because I don't have the settings set on my phone because we share an account for Geeks on Trial.
I think probably it doesn't go across phones, is my guess.
Okay.
But you have a different model of Pixel than me, I think.
I have the 5.
So it may only be on my model. I don't know.
Now, my issue with a lot of these is like TikTok, Instagram, and all the Shorts websites, they default to mute. And that always upsets me because it's sometimes like you have to click on the video to unmute the video. And like if I'm like, I don't want to click things. I have one hand. I don't want to
What's the other hand doing?
Jerking off.
Okay. TikTok, if you're watching, please fix this issue for me. That's all I ask.
Unless you're, and we don't live in, what is it, Minnesota? No, Utah? Who's not allowed to use TikTok? Utah.
Oh, no. Well, Utah is where they blocked Pornhub. I don't know about TikTok. Oh, no, that was Montana.
Montana,
I think,
one of the other weird states.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on these days.
So,
anyway.
Okay, can I have your soapbox? I need you to step down from it, please.
You need it for a minute? Yeah. Go ahead. Get on up.
No, I just need to get rid of it. I don't want you stepping up on your soapbox anymore.
Oh.
This is a non-approved soapbox.
Sorry. I was using that soap to clean myself, so I'm going to be smelly.
Well, that's fine. You're not here.
We really need to talk about more relevant news today, still before our case, which is the recent announcement by Nintendo that the voice of Mario, Charles Martinet, will be stepping down from that role. In fact, in the upcoming Super Mario Wonder for Switch, which comes out just a month or two, he's not going to be the voice of Mario. So he is officially out. This is the guy who has been It's a Me Mario. He invented that since Mario 64, and I think. If I recall, if my trivia knowledge is correct, the first game that Mario had a voice in, you know what it is? Or at least Charles Martinet's voice.
Mario 64, no?
There's one before that.
Really?
I think. I could be wrong, but there is. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Is it like a Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart?
No, it's a weird one.
Okay.
It's something strange. Mario's Game Gallery, which was a computer game where you played Go Fish and checkers with Mario.
Right.
And Mario would say things like, "Time to go fishing."
Now, and you said it wasn't him back then, or it was him?
I know. I believe that was his first role. People can fact check me. I didn't, but I'm pretty sure this is right.
I won't.
Don't fact check me. I'm sure it's true.
Now, when I heard this, I'm like, oh, he died. Nope. He's just old.
He's alive and kicking. He's 67.
Oh. Well, not terribly old. Not young, but not like old. But I guess, when you get older, your voices start to change, and it is a high pitch. I don't know how the man speaks normally. I know he's Australian.
I think he's French.
He's French.
His name is French, that's for sure.
I'm not going to
Martinet. Yeah, no. I don't know if he's like from France, but he's...
But he's definitely not Italian.
He's not Italian and he's not Japanese. I can confirm those two things.
So who's going... Like, are we getting Chris Pratt?
We're not getting Chris Pratt. I mean, we've heard Mario in the new game, and actually a few months ago people saw those trailers, and some people said, that doesn't sound like Charles Martinet, but there wasn't confirmation yet. And I watched it and said, I think it does sound like him.
Well, because that's the thing, like, he doesn't talk, like, he's not having full-on sentences. Nintendo's very good for not making their characters speak. And if they do speak, it's not, it's gibberish. It's Animal Crossing talk, which had a title.
Right. Animalese or something?
Yeah. So it's not like you're going to, like, you have to have a trained ear or be, like, neurotic to be like, oh, it's a me, Mario. It's not Mario.
Well, it's also, I think I was also like you said, he's getting older.
Yeah.
Your voice changes. Like, I've been watching the new Futurama, and Fry doesn't quite sound like... A fly literally just landed right on my nose. I don't know if you could see that on camera. That's great. Anyway, Fry doesn't quite sound exactly like he used to sound. Because age will just change your voice like that.
Now,
we all know we don't need to talk about Marge Simpson, but...
Oh, let's talk about Marge Simpson. So, this is when I am okay with AI. Because... No.
This is not the way I saw this conversation going.
Because they have years of his voice recorded in a backlog. And I think they should be using the AI, but paying him. So, like, they have years of him coming in there saying, what, 4 to 12 phrases? And, like, how much does he, like, how many words does this man actually speak in a video game?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, he re-records each game, but here's the other thing you got to take into account before we even get into your AI business, which people will not like. He's not just the voice of Mario. Charles Martinet is the voice of Luigi, Wario, Waluigi. He's the voice of, like, 18 Mario characters.
Oh. So that's going to be the other issue is now we have to find either one person that can voice all these people alike, or you're going to have to hire 18 different voice actors and something's going to be amiss.
I really wonder what they're going to do because they really relied on him for a lot.
Which is like, I guess, a shame on you from Mario, but, like, you know, Mario is Nintendo, but Mario's an endless character. Like, he doesn't age. It's a cartoon. It's fake. Like, you know, it'll last forever.
Well, he's real to me.
These voice actors will die.
That's true. Yeah, I'm fine with them getting new voice actors. I don't need Mario to sound the same forever. I mean, it's the same like Bugs Bunny or any of these characters. They kind of, over the years, they move on to new people. Right. Kermit the Frog. And
it'll upset me for like a month, and I'll just be like, all right, because, like, once again, he doesn't speak that much. But
you do hear a lot of woohoos.
But that's the thing, like, back to the AI thing. Maybe not AI. I don't know just pre-recorded stuff. Like, you can reuse that, but just make sure the man gets paid.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Because, like, give him the same money as he would to come in and record it, but you have all the, like, when did Mario 64, 30 years of woohoo, like, use it.
But I also like the idea of, you know, if you're an up-and-coming voice actor, you could dream of one day being the Mario voice, as opposed to one guy did it. It's like the equivalent of the guy at the office who never retires, so no one gets promoted.
Yeah.
Like, you want to let other people have a shot maybe at the title. Now, Charles Martinet is staying on supposedly as the Mario ambassador at Nintendo.
What does that mean?
I think that means he'll be at press events. He'll like dress as Mario at there's not an E3 anymore, but it's for something.
But that's also unfair to the next voice actor. Like, shouldn't you be getting, like, oh, you're the new Mario, so you're the new Mario?
I don't know. Now you're on the side of the voice actor after you were advocating for AI.
I said pay him.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. The voice actor probably doesn't want to. They don't. Usually voice actors don't do that stuff anyway, so it's not like...
Well, and that's the other thing, too. Like, he does Mario and Nintendo stuff. That's about, like, all I know him from. I'm sure maybe, like, in his homeland he does other things, but, like...
His homeland. I think he lives in America. He does... I know there's at least one other thing you probably would recognize him from, but I don't know what it is.
You're probably going to find a new voice actor who's like, oh, I want to do other things besides this. Because he was older. Well, maybe not. Mario 30, so it's like maybe he's in his 40s when he became Mario. But, like, you know, we're going to get somebody who's, like, going to want to change jobs at some point. So we might not have...
I mean, I don't think being Mario requires more than, like, a couple weeks out of the year.
Right.
You know, it doesn't take that long to record your dialogue for the next Mario game.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that would probably be doable. I'm curious. I wonder if we'll ever find out exactly why he's stepping down is the question.
It honestly,
his choice,
or
do you think Nintendo said your voice? We want someone new. We want to try something new.
So online, he lives in America.
Okay, good.
Because I always thought he was like Australian, like from Australia. Or like lived in Australia. Maybe that's where they found him.
You make that assumption about a lot of people.
I do, because it's a place that I'll never go to, and it's fine. Yeah, so from 1991 to 2023, he was the voice of Mario.
1991. Mario 64 definitely didn't come out until 95 or 6.
So I'm wondering if he was like the voice. He definitely wasn't the voice of it in the cartoons in the 90s. Because that was like
there have been other Marios.
A rough, gruff Italian thing. But I'm hoping they don't... Go ahead.
I was going to say it's kind of funny that I think his last role as Mario probably was the movie, or not being a voice in the movie.
Right.
I don't think another Mario game came out after that, so I think that's his. Yeah, that's his final.
Now, did you said you heard the new game?
Yeah, it sounds pretty close.
So they are just copying old school, like they're not changing up the Mario voice.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I don't think they're not going to do a total 180 or anything.
Right.
He's still saying it's a me and stuff.
Okay. So hey,
Yeah.
I mean, good for it. Hopefully, maybe he's just retiring and just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, you're right though. He probably works once a year.
Right.
Comes in, records his bit, and then peace out.
Yeah, he's probably got enough money. He's probably happy, relaxing now. Good for him. It is the kind of the end of an era, you know?
Right.
It is
So
something you don't think about.
So his partner just gets to hear him sitting at home going, "It was a me. I'm
good.
no longer Mario."
That's really good. Woohoo! All right, we really do have to get into today's case, but we are going to continue on the thread of video games. That's a big part of this.
Wahoo!
Everybody, strap in. Today's case comes to us from the internet. You can find a link in our episode description. Our defendant today is Kelly. Kelly is a mom who's finding difficulty navigating the digital world, specifically in regards to her 12-year-old daughter, Millie. Recently, Kelly gave Millie some money as a reward for doing well in school, which Millie promptly spent on a digital item in a video game that she had been having her eye on for quite some time. Kelly said that this was okay, but then she discovers that the item in question cost $200 or so. And Kelly feels that this is an unreasonable amount of money to spend on a video game item. She punishes Millie, grounds her. Kelly's husband, however, thinks that that punishment is too severe and ungrounds Millie, and now there's a rift created between the two parents, as well as the mom and the daughter having a disagreement. Now, as dual judges here on Geeks on Trial, it's our job to determine whether Kelly is smelly or Millie is silly.
The hell's wrong with you
this week? I just kept it real simple.
Why you got to attack their personal odors? and
Straight to the point. One of them's smelly or one of them's being silly. We just got to get to the bottom of that.
This week's intro was written by a 5-year-old. Somebody's smelly,
That's right.
Somebody's silly.
That's right. Now, okay, we do not know, just to be clear, there's some facts that we don't have all the facts about in this case. For example, we don't know exactly what this game was.
Right.
We don't know which game is in question or what the item was. So we have to speak kind of broadly in generalizations about that aspect of this.
Now, do we have an age for Millie? Was it 12?
12 years old. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can assume it was probably like one of the, one of the hip hop games that are out right now. Like, is Minecraft still a thing?
Minecraft is still pretty hip. Now, here's the thing. I don't know about... I also am not sure. In the case file, it's referred to as a $200 item. I'm not sure if maybe it's a bundle or there's other things involved.
Right.
Because most games... I shouldn't say that. Most items in games aren't $200.
Right, unless it's maybe a thing from what's the game? Ah, crap! I'm losing my mind.
You gotta give me a
here.
hint.
Where you jump out of the bus and you start fighting.
Fortnite.
Like, unless it's like because I don't even know if that's still popular.
Fortnite's still big, very big.
So
huge.
I don't know. Maybe there's like a special outfit that you get where it's like, oh, I want to get the gold outfit or the gold skin or
Right.
There's something that's rare that came out for this thing. Because I could see video game developers being like, hey, let's see how much we can push for this digital imagination piece of nothing to see if we can get $200 for it.
I'm sure it exists. I mean, I know in the Marvel Snap they had bundles that were like $100.
Right. Well, even back in the day, Pokemon Go had it's a special day. Here, get this box. It's like $100, and you get like a lifetime supply of Pokeballs.
Right. Sure. So my best guess is I think Fortnite is a big contender. The other big one for kids is Roblox.
Right.
I don't know if
I've heard of it.
Roblox. Yeah, I don't have too much familiarity, but it's where kids can actually... It's kind of like a Minecraft extravaganza, like kids can create their own
Right.
games within it. I've also heard that Roblox is very predatory towards kids for microtransactions, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the game.
Well, and a
that's
lot of
happening.
these games that are of that generation are very microtransaction-y, where it's like, here, we're going to give you this body, but you can only change 2 things. Where it's like, me, I'm okay being in, like, the same outfit every time, because for me, it's not about what my character looks like. It's about just playing the game.
It's what's on the inside that
Right.
counts.
Because, like, even, like, bring up Mario, like, you weren't able to change Mario. You just played as Mario for all these years.
Yeah, which always pissed me off. I was like, where's my Spider-Man skin for Mario?
Well, let me ask you, you bring that up. Are you you're not really a big microtransaction game kind of person, but like when you are, do you like have to buy the outfit that you like? Like, will you spend physical money on something like that? A cosmetic thing?
Almost never.
Right.
I like you said, I really don't. Most of the games that have this type of thing in it, which to be fair, is nowadays that kind of crosses genres. There's a lot of them, but
Right.
I typically, my preference of video game is usually offline single player narrative games. I don't play too many competitive online games. I will buy DLC for sure if it's like additional characters or levels.
Like
And
if it's
then
actually
sometimes
worth it.
Yes, and sometimes it'll come with this. I think I've bought a couple of skins for Mii's in Smash Brothers. Those are literally like they cost 75 cents.
Right.
But other than that, I think honestly the game I've probably gotten the most into that is microtransaction. I don't know about heavy, but certainly has microtransactions in it. Is Marvel Snap.
Right.
And I paid for some, like each month they had a season pass, which came with new cards and stuff like that. And sometimes some things in it would be included variants of existing cards. So that's a purely cosmetic thing.
Right.
But I was never like, oh, I'm just buying this cosmetic thing. Usually that isn't something that I care much to go after.
Right.
What about you?
I'm actively like against it. I am very like if I'm DLCs upset me for a while because I'm like, oh, just give me the game and it's full whatever. But like I've grown upon that because it's like you're getting more to it, especially
DLC can mean so many things now too.
Right.
It's hard to.
because like a game where it's like, let's say Grand Theft Auto, you know, you have the online where if you buy a DLC, you get to play the game for another like year, basically. Like it's it's a new game, like that kind of stuff. But like just to pay for, you know, an outfit or stuff that like you should be able to access for free in the game, especially like all these games, like where I've played games where you unlock outfits. Like that's part of the game, so like you can go back and replay it or go back like Splatoon.
Squid Game?
Yes.
Yeah, the Squid Game.
The Squid Game. When you play the Squid Game, no, in Splatoon you have to earn the in-game money, which makes you play more, which is how you
Sure.
can unlock these uniforms, these outfits, these whatevers, and that's really the only type of thing I would ever do. Like I would never. Like in Destiny, World of Warcraft, my fiance plays Rust, games like that. Like I never care about the character I'm looking at. Like I
Didn't
don't.
you get into Rocket League for a while?
And I use the base car because
No DeLorean, no Batmobile.
because it doesn't do anything.
Right.
Like if it changed the way you played and gave you like maybe a boost, sure I would do it. But like it's just the look of the car, which I'm not looking at the car. I'm looking at everything around it. And I'm not like a peacock gamer. Like I'm not like, hey, look at me. You can clearly tell I mismanage my money.
Yeah, I mean, counterpoint kind of to what you're saying. I mean, I agree from a personal perspective with what you're saying, but I also do think that's kind of for those reasons.
Right.
That's the best way for games to go about it often. You don't want a game to charge you for the stuff that matters.
Right.
If it's talking about free-to-play games, usually games with microtransactions like that, ongoing games, I want them to sell the cosmetic stuff because for the people who find that important, they will pay for it, they will support the game. But I still get access to all the actual content for free.
Right.
And I don't have to buy the costumes. So it is kind of a strange middle ground they've found that maybe isn't perfect, but for the current way these games operate, I think it's maybe the best solution we've found so far.
Right. Now, I would definitely say, and I might be attacking people, but like you can tell a real gamer or like a gamer who's actually into gaming because they don't have all the you can tell that they have the new of the month cape in this game or the car skin. Like they're in it for the game and not just to, have the little 12-year-olds be like, "Oh wow, he can get the DeLorean."
Well, also here's the thing. Let's get back to the 12-year-olds, which is something that I've said before.
I gotta go.
Because we did not grow up with these types of games.
No.
These games, I don't think, really took off until maybe even after we were in college.
I would say smartphone era, because like smartphones were the first time you had the access to the internet via the game constantly.
Sure, stuff like Bejeweled kind of maybe was the start of this. I don't know. But I do think it's very different being a kid, especially because for a lot of kids who can't just go out and buy video games whenever they want, Fortnite, for example, or Roblox or Minecraft, that's the game they play.
Right.
And that might be what they play for 5 years, or Call of Duty. And for them, buying the new Spider-Man skin or whatever it is in Fortnite is akin to like buying a new pack of trading cards for Magic that you play or something.
Right.
They're playing this game like every day for months and months and months, so they kind of want something fun to get excited about and shake up the experience maybe. Like I understand, I don't blame anyone personally for being into it, especially kids. I get it. There is a limit where there's a line between, I like this character, I buy a couple of these now and then, versus there are what is known as the whales, who are
Brendan
the people
Fraser.
who spend that's right, who spend thousands of dollars every year on these games, and they're the ones keeping it afloat.
Right, and that's the thing I think that upsets me more is that because there are these whales out there that are spending a ridiculous amount of money, in my opinion, on this, the game community, the developers are like, hey, there are these 40 people who are spending, probably more than that, but these people who are spending a shit ton of money on these little, in my opinion, stupid things that they're going to push that more. Oh, well, if they want to unlock this level, they need to pay us. Like, the gaming industry isn't known for saying, oh, that's enough money for us. We're good, thank you.
Yeah, very few businesses are like that these days.
Because, like, what was it, EA or something back in the day? They had the loot boxes or whatever something was that, like, they wanted to get this money and get it, we're going to give you an upgraded gun if you pay money. Where I think that should come from earned, like, building your skill on a game. Like, even on Splatoon, well, maybe not Splatoon, but like there's other games where it's like everyone's starting day one, and you can tell somebody just threw down $500 so they can get good in the game.
Yeah, I mean, digital card games are a big thing.
Right.
Since I don't know words.
But like to me, it's like, okay, fine, I have Monopoly. If we're bringing it into board games, I have the base game of Monopoly. Why do I need to go out and get the My Little Pony Monopoly? It's the same game, but some people...
Sometimes not. Sometimes they add a little twist.
Right, but like I would say most of the time it's just it's a skin. But
I think you need every Monopoly, but go on.
But like, to bring it down to like, because I don't want to just hate on all these people. I do. But there has to be a budget. And like spending $200 on a skin, spending $20 on an in-game thing to me is a little outrageous, especially when the game itself you paid for. and you already paid $60, $70, $80 for the game. Now that's not a thing with Fortnite. Fortnite is free.
Fortnite's free. I think Roblox, most of those games, Minecraft you do pay for. That's additional stuff.
And I also, there's a whole
thing.
thing.
You do.
Like I don't like with World of Warcraft. I always got into the whole thing, and Destiny. I think no, Destiny is free. I believe.
Yes, it is now. It wasn't to start with.
Wasn't, yeah. But like I don't like pay to play
Overwatch.
Like, monthly games. That always upsets me too.
Does World of Warcraft have in-game stuff to buy in
Yeah.
addition to the monthly fee? Of course it does. Why am I? I just never played it, so I'm not.
Oh, believe me, I know. I've had fights about this.
RuneScape. I played RuneScape.
That was free?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So we've heard our stance on the microtransactions. We're mostly not personally. We don't really partake in it.
Right.
I'm a little more like, if it's your thing, it's your thing. But do you, as a parent of a kid, which we both are,
Right. Where's my child?
would you? It's always in the last place you look. Mine was in the dryer last time.
You got to keep them warm.
You do, and shooken up.
Dryer baby syndrome is a new thing now. Don't.
DBS. How do you feel about giving money to your kid? What's the ideal way to allow for that or portion that out? Would that be different to you than like just giving them an allowance, or do you say like, oh, for a video game there's a different budget, or depends what it is?
So, I don't know about you, but I was raised differently than most children. Baboons raised.
You're not
me.
like other girls.
And I was raised by that. No, I didn't have an allowance. I didn't have this monthly thing. Oh, my mom was very much like my parents were very much. I shouldn't have to pay you to do household chores. This should just be something you do, which I understand. So like I never got a weekly, monthly allowance like a lot of kids. I guess really kids on TV did. I don't know how many kids in real life got like a monthly allowance, but like
I got an allowance.
Did you?
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But like it was more so like I could just get things. So like I wouldn't get an allowance, but if I went, hey mom, Mario 64 is coming out. Can I get the new Mario? Yeah, let's go to the store. So like I was just able to get things instead of like having a saved allotment of money that I could just do whatever I
They
wanted.
didn't trust you with the money, is what it sounds
Well, it's
like.
not even that. It's just like now that they didn't trust me with money because like the only way I could spend money was, hey mom, drive me somewhere. Like we didn't have the internet.
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, I do think there is some value in, like, I feel like as a kid with my allowance, I would save it up for a video. I feel like there's some value in teaching a kid about
Right.
saving up money. Is there? I don't know. It's all fucking capitalist bullshit anyway. But there is.
That's the thing too. Like I don't think we would give our kid an allowance because like I don't think my partner didn't get an allowance either. It would be like, hey, I need this thing. Okay, we'll get you this thing. Like
Right,
I don't
if you deem it.
like I don't believe, not even like if I deem it, like if they really want it, fine, you can have
But
it.
what about when they hit like high school age? Then it becomes a different thing. If they're like, oh, I'm going to the movies or something, or like I'm actually going out with friends and maybe I want to. Does that change the equation for you at all, or would you just give them money?
I had a job
also-
since I was 14. So like I always had like either income from that, but like if I was like, hey mom, me and Jonathan are going to the movies, she's like, here's money for you guys to go to the movies. Because
I think I just liked, as a kid, it feels more, you feel more independent. You're not really, but it gives you a sense of like, this is my money
Right.
now. And so it's like my responsibility to deal with it.
Well, I
don't
had
know.
that with like because like we would always get like birthday checks, birthday money, gift cards, etc. Excuse me. So like I would have that kind of money that I would save up
Jesus.
from whatever, because like I had my birthday
Right.
is like 6 months away from Christmas, so it's like I had the two things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or 3
that's
months.
part of it.
Sorry.
And we didn't grow up with video games, in-game transactions. So like I said before, so that also wasn't a thing. There was no, well, for that now, because you need a credit card to do that stuff.
That's another rant I can go on.
Well, according to this case, and you were telling me there's now kid debit cards.
Right, or kid credit cards and stuff like that, which I'm not a fan of, like, because you can, it's another way of like parents not being able to monitor what their children are doing.
Well, I think we've all heard the horror stories of, the parent who looks at their phone and realizes their kid spent $2,000 on a game because the kid just went in and just like click, 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 and they don't know what they're doing. Sometimes my 12 years old is a little different.
My cousin-in-law, I guess is what you call him, my partner's cousin,
sure,
gave the kid the cell phone, like their cell phone, just to kind of like here, have the phone, and like the kid randomly was buying stuff on Amazon.
Right.
So they had to like, oh my God, let me go in and like cancel these orders because it was like we are out of money for the week.
Right. Yeah, and sometimes they can call back and they can get it returned, and sometimes you can't.
No.
Sometimes they're like, you're out of luck.
Well, especially with a digital thing, because like certain apps develop it purposely this way. Because they make it easy for a kid or a retired person,
anyone,
to, click the big green shiny buy button and link a credit card that's already saved to the phone.
Right. They don't, that's where you got them beat, because no credit card's saved on your phone.
Nope, only to Taco Bell. Buy all the Taco
Amazon.
Bell you want. At both, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, in this case, the mom, Kelly, knows she's going to buy something in a game.
Right.
And she approves of it, theoretically. She may be, I don't know how much she thinks it's going to cost, like $50 or something like that. And 200 is her hard limit, or at least it's over her limit, perhaps. Right. So she's not totally in the dark. And again, this kid is 12, and 12 is like, you're not a toddler. Like you're old enough to understand to some extent the value of money. You may not know exactly like what does $200 mean exactly to you in the real world, but you have an idea. At least I would think that's like a lot of money.
Well, for me, like $200, like sure,
but inflation
and stuff, whatever. But like $200 when I was a kid was like, oh, that's 4 video games. Like that's like that's a big allotment of money to spend on anything. Like I would at 12, like I didn't know like how much groceries cost. Like I wasn't an adult at that age, but like 200 seems like a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I had $200 as a kid, I was probably saving it up for a year.
Right.
I was like, that was like an incomprehensible amount of money to me. Anything $100 was like, I can't even truly imagine. The only thing I ever spent that much money on as a kid was a video game system.
Right. And a lot of times that was either we saved up for that or like our parents gave that to us for a holiday.
Yeah, like so the idea of just spending $200 on, again, maybe we don't know if it's a bundle or something like that.
Right, but still like something digital, something non-tangible.
Yeah, but I do think a lot of this is also showcasing how old we are, because I think kids coming up today, that everything's digital. They don't. Right. They're not thinking about it. They probably don't. They might not even have physical games. So, to them, there's no difference. There's no mental difference between buying Fortnite and buying a skin in Fortnite. It's just stuff.
And that is another issue. Not the non-tangible items, these NFTs, but the fact that like parents are just like, here, have a credit card. Like, there's no like. I've kind of discussed this on other shows too, where it's like parenting your children needs to be a thing more, but like when you just
it's tough.
When you especially drier kids, when you just go, here's $200, aren't you going to question that? Like if my parents knew I had $200 and they're like, what are you buying?
Thank you.
They would be like, what are you spending $200 on? Like, because, and especially now in the internet and app age of like, are you buying like Pornhub? Like, are you, like, spending money? Because, like, honestly...
Just you own Pornhub now?
$200.
It's a good investment.
It is. People always using it. But, like, because, like I was saying before, when we were younger, there was online shopping, but it wasn't like it is now. Because, like, you could buy things online or through a catalog, but, like, it was a hoops to jump through. Where now, like, you're right, everything is digital or bought online, where you don't need to monitor what your child is buying. Like you've mentioned a few times, your mom was strict with like the PG-13 or like the ratings of movies. Mm-hmm. Where if this was now, you could just go online and buy it. And she would never know.
Right. Which I guess back in the day was the equivalent of like watching it on HBO or something if you had the movie channels.
But like for you to go out and buy like GoldenEye 007, she needed to show an ID. Or like you don't need to show an ID anymore.
Right.
You just go online and you just say, "Oh I was born in January 1st, 1960."
That's right. January 1st, however far back I scroll before my finger gets tired. Yep.
I mean, not going to lie, I still do that today, and I'm quite over the age.
Now, supposedly, in this case, Kelly is letting her daughter keep the item. She's not making her... she's not calling Fortnite headquarters or whatever it is and saying, refund the money.
Right.
What do you think about that? Like, is that a kind of a mixed message of you're grounded, but you already did it, so I guess you can keep it. So it's not that bad, maybe, but it's bad enough.
So if it's digital, like it's on the Kitty credit card. I think that comes in. Is that horn coming through your end or my end?
Oh, you can hear that? Yeah, there's a car alarm going off.
Okay,
somewhere.
No, that's fine. So a Kitty credit card sends a notification to a parent, the ones that I know of, and they are...
Well, I have one that you monitor.
Right, yeah. I monitor all your purchases, and boy, you stop buying... Stop it. Stop.
I'm trying to buy Pornhub.
Stop
one piece at a time.
One video at a time. I'll get them all someday. But like...
I'm waiting for the apocalypse to hit, and then it's like, I'm the only one who's got the porn.
You're burning DVDs and selling it out of your trunk.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you have the ability as a parent to approve that purchase before it's put in. So, like, assuming that she's using this Kitty credit card properly, she has the ability to just hit no. Like, you get an email that says, hey, Millie is spending $200 at, dlcstore.com. And which might be a plug for Jeff Kanata. You're welcome. So, like, you have the ability to, like, parent.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like maybe there's a setting you can change, because it sounds like this couldn't have been something she approved,
right?
Or she wouldn't have been shocked by it. So it must have gone through without her knowledge,
or she just did like a blind click or something.
Or the father maybe is the one who approved it, or maybe the kid just has the access and just goes to the email and just says yes, approved or something.
Right, which I mean, stuff I used to do back in the day as a kid.
Sure, we've all done that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that what I'm trying to say is ultimately I just don't even know.
Well, that's a great case.
I do. I actually do think I am ready to give my verdict. Is there anything we haven't touched on that we need to touch on?
Not really. Basically, we'll boil it down to we're old, we don't know what we're talking about, and the youth today, right?
Yeah. It's always a caveat. We're very old.
Yeah, I guess.
Sounds like, yeah.
I guess we're good. Just in time for the car alarm to be stopped. Now.
That went on for a while.
Yeah, let's hear your verdicts.
All right. For me, there is some nuance to this case. Whether or not it's okay for a kid to spend this much money on a item in a game, I think there are arguments to be made on both sides, and it depends on what it is. And there's a lot of things that could come up in the nitty gritty of that we don't necessarily know. And same goes with, is it punishment enough or too much punishment to ground, or what do you do in this situation? How do you handle it? There are aspects of the case that I think could kind of go either way. But what it comes down to for me as the sticking point.
The stick-in point?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great restaurant.
Is simply that this should have been cut off at the head, I think. Headed off at the pass. There should have been a pass or a cut or a head of some kind at some point.
They should have nipped it at the bud.
Yeah, something like that. And Kelly she knew her daughter was excited about this thing and was buying it. She should have asked what it was and there should be guidelines or boundaries in place. This is a 12-year-old kid, so I feel like this is at late enough stage in the kid's life that the conversation should have been had by now about what the parent considers appropriate or inappropriate for them to buy with the money they're given. And so whether or not like it's okay in the end, to me, Kelly is guilty of just not figuring this stuff out in the first place. And that's where I have to come down, and for me it's a guilty.
This, because I don't have children. I don't have, we don't know what it is to have those responsibilities of taking care of youth. But what?
Well, isn't it crazy how we don't have kids, but we're so much better than most parents.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
I'm just awesome. Like I've seen people.
We know better. We know better.
Yeah, but this boils down to like having the conversation with your daughter, not the conversation. That's the internet can teach you that. But like,
which one is that?
Birds and Beasts. The one fucking.
Oh, like fucking.
Well, for somebody who bought Pornhub, I think you would know.
I don't watch the videos.
Oh, huh.
There's a lot of good stuff on Pornhub.
Anyway,
go ahead.
So you go just for the articles. So you should have had this conversation with your daughter the second your daughter or any child was given a kiddie credit card, because if you are trusting your child with money, you need to like push into them the responsibilities of having money, of what money means. And that $200 is a lot of money to spend on anything, really, be it a night out, be it, going to the movies, buying something at the mall. Like $200 is a lot of money to be spending on anything. But, going over this in my head, I do think like Kelly is guilty of not, I don't want to say, because you don't want her to be a helicopter parent and like hovering over everything that the child is doing, but you also want her to be like, aware of what she's buying, because like you don't know what stuff is going on in this game or even what the item is per se. So like, she is guilty of not just having an open conversation about this. And that's where I say that, she is guilty. I do think, the daughter is a little guilty of maybe doing a one-over on her parents, being like, oh, yeah, no, this is, I have the money, I'm just going to buy this, and then just kind of like, maybe just doing it and not saying what it was. But in the end, like, you're in charge of this child. Guilty.
I think maybe you're a little more anti the child than me in this case. A little bit. Maybe.
I'm not really anti
I can't
the
think of a
child,
better way to say
but like, I know I'm going to be a strict parent.
Maybe you're more. I'm almost like. I mean, $200 is a lot, but like, depending on what the thing is. And depending on how much my kid is into this thing and what the situation is, and it changes if it's a birthday or a holiday or something. I don't know. There's factors where I feel like I could see myself saying, I get it, spend the money on this thing in this game, right, as long as I know what it is. Where I feel like I think you're on a harder line of you don't think that amount of money probably should be spent. That's where I feel like maybe you have a little more sympathy for the mother.
On a digital thing, no.
Right.
Because, like, in the end of the day, it's like, oh, I guess it is going to, the daughter shooting herself in the foot. Because, like, at one point, she's going to be like, oh, I bought this, let's say it's just a skin or a bundle. Hey, Mom, can I have $10 to go to the movies? No, you spent $200 on
right.
this. So there's, like, I'm also I'm big into, like, not punishing children, like, never hit your kids. You can hit other people's kids.
Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta hit them.
But you made your bed, now sleep in it. This was your $200. I'm not giving you.
Yeah.
Because there have been times in my life where my mom was like, "Here's money to go do something," and I blew it on like, one item. She goes, no, that was your money for the month.
Yeah, which I think is fine as long it's like you say up front, like, yeah, like, look, this is if you're going to spend it on, you can spend it on whatever you want, but then it's up to you. You're not going to get it for something else.
Right, because like I always got birthday money, and like my mom was like, I don't care what you spend it on as long as it falls in under like rules of like it's not R-rated, it's not a shooting thing,
it's not a grenade,
it's not 2 grenades and a box of guns. I'm not out drinking or like stuff like that.
Now, I do think there's also a shift where, to me, the guilt shifts if, say, the daughter is 15 or 16. I think 12 is still young enough that it's more the parent's responsibility. Right. But I think mid to later teenage years, that's when I think the kid should know better.
I think once you're able to legally get a job, so 16 in most states, that's when, like, it's your money, do with it what you want within reason.
So how are we punishing Millie? She needs to be sentenced. I mean, sorry, Kelly. So we decided, by the way, that Kelly is smelly.
Kelly is smelly. Millie is vanilla? No, that's
not. Millie's not silly. Yeah, she's vanilla.
Right.
How? Yeah. What do we do with Kelly here?
Because it feels bad.
I don't want to be too harsh.
Because it feels bad punishing the mother who is like, I don't know, like she made a mistake.
Again, I think her error was earlier on. It was not taking preventative measures.
Right.
Rather than her specific reaction to this case.
We're really just saying she's a bad mother.
Right. Yes. And I think, are any mothers really good? I don't know that they are.
Teresa? Mother Teresa. Wasn't she a good Shaft? Shaft was a good mother.
Okay, you are right on that one. Shaft, as we all know famously, was a good mother.
So, maybe she has to force her to play the game with her daughter, which might be a punishment for both of them. But, no, I do think, going back on like a parenting thing, I do like my parents had no idea. They're like, oh, cool, you're playing video games. And then they play it, they're like, oh, I played Pac-Man, I know video games. I do think a parent should maybe not
morons
have to play with their kids, but get into what your kids are doing. Like maybe hey, we're gonna play you like video games, let's play video games together. My parents knew I loved movies, so let's take a family day to go to the movies or to the arcade or something. Watch what your kid's doing. We had the family TV, family computer, they'd be like, oh cool, you're doing this, nice. And then
we hereby sentence Kelly to 1 month of playing Roblox with her daughter.
With no add-ons. You have to play vanilla.
Yeah. It's a bonding opportunity for the both of them.
Yep.
Well, interesting case today, and I think our viewers and listeners will agree. Of course, we're on YouTube and in podcast form. And whichever version of this you're consuming, we'd be curious to hear your own opinions on the case. You can send them to us via our email address, geeksontrial@gmail.com. You can also submit your own geeky case, whether it involved video games, movies, board games, books, serials. You can submit those to us also via email, or you can submit them via our form, which is in our episode description, a link therein. Explore as you will, traveler.
And if you have a Kitty credit card, feel free to head on over to Geeks on Trial. Nope. To patreon.com/Geeks on Trial and just give us $3 a month. It's cheaper than a $200 game bundle, and it'll help us grow the community, grow the things, and we are going to eventually be making some new content over there on the Patreon. So a few bucks a month, you get early access to our audio and our video episodes, and you'll be getting a new monthly video coming out in the future.
You want to get in on the ground floor. You want to be cool.
Want to give us your money so we can buy skins for the Fortnite.
I have so many Marvel Snap cards I need to buy. You don't even know. Now, if you'd like to follow us personally outside of the show, you can find my stuff at my website, jonathanestes.com. That's my name. That's how you remember it, .com.
Oh.
And you can check out my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube as Quentz27. I've got a new video out there now. I put together sort of a little retrospective video essay about the Insidious film franchise.
It sounds insidious.
which I watched recently. So check that out if you're a horror fan, perhaps. Something confusing you?
Many things. I wasn't sure if you were going to keep going or not. You can find me over on The Snack Guy. I'm youtube.com/The Snack Guy, where I review snack foods, talk about snack foods, and have fun little videos all about snack foods. And you can head on over to ivanhan.com for all of my future and past work. Right now, I'm actually doing a little offline work. I am the technical director over at a local community theater, and we have a brand new play coming out in September called Bay Jest. It's I can't pronounce it. BAEU Jest. Bay Jests. And it's about it's a Jewish family.
Is this French? Is it like Beau Geste or something?
Kind of. It's a Jewish family play. So I don't know. I'm just the technical director, but
you're plugging your local play that's just in the town you live in?
Yep, just in Ocean County. So if you want to come out and get tickets, they're cheap.
Cool. Look that up, everybody. That's cool.
And until next time, I'm Ivan Hahn.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and you've been geeking on trial. Peace.